It's a love story, like a fairy tale, but on the island of Dr. Moreau. This is Swamp Thing on Stinker Madness.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at these!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at these!
No more hangers!
It stinks.
Hangers!
Get to the chopper! Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness, the podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin. With me as always, Sam and Jackie. Swamp Thing from 1982, directed by Wes Craven.
Was it? Was it?
Starring Adrienne Barbeau, Ray Wise, Louise Jordan from Octopussy fame?
Yes, Octopussy.
Yeah, okay.
Also, Three Coins in the Fountain.
Three Coins in the Fountain by Frank Sinatra. He did the music video to that song?
No, I thought that was Mick Jagger and David Bowie.
Oh, right. They're always doing those music videos.
Those music videos.
Hello, Jackie. I hear you're hungover, as usual.
Yes.
All right.
There was a birthday party last night. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's it, huh?
Oh God, it was fun.
Okay. All right. I hope the listener is not hungover because that sucks.
I'm saltier than usual.
You are?
Yeah.
Like, did you get a test for that? Like, did you go to the doctor and they're like, yep, your salt levels are way too high?
Well, no, but I have two dogs both licking my legs at the same time, so I must be covered in salt.
I would say that the science behind that is probably just the same as if they jab needles into you and pulled out shit and it's like, yep, it's salty.
Jab needles into you to figure out whether you're salty or not. You can't just, like, lick you.
The doctor? I don't think the doctor licks you.
Could.
Well, I mean, they used to, like, hey, lady, I'm going to have to use my tongue for this examination. I would say they don't do that anymore, but I don't know. Maybe they still do. Swamp Thing from 1982. Sam, what have you learned into the mystery of Swamp Thing?
I had heard somewhere along the lines that this was supposed to be like a Wes Craven's big chance for a big picture, and he's going to get on with the major studios because of this, because he's done his budget things before. But I mean,
well, he's linked up with DC. I mean, that's just a stone's throw away from Batman and Superman. And Richard Donner just got done with Superman 2 years before that, and that was a huge success.
Yeah, and at the same time, this doesn't seem to have any link to a major studio at all.
No, it doesn't.
The production company was Swamp Pictures. Which is just him, right?
Right.
It's just what he came up with for it. And then it was released by Embassy, I guess, direct to drive-ins or something.
It had to.
It didn't go to theaters.
Yeah.
There's no box office on it.
Huh.
It cost $2.5 million.
Yeah.
It didn't return any money.
I doubt it.
Now, what's odd is the numbers for Swamp Thing 2 are scarce in the opposite direction, where we have no idea what Return of Swamp Thing cost.
Sure.
But it returned $274,000.
$274,000 on a DTV movie. I'd still say that that's a disappointment because Heather Locklear was probably somebody by then.
Well, it actually went to a minor theater run. The second one did.
Jackie, this is your second viewing of Swamp Thing. You and I hit this about, 2 years ago, and we're like, whoa. Were you more prepared this time? No, it's still...
No, I forgot about the villain and what happens to him.
Arcane, played by Louise Jordan.
And I don't know, like, it just, the more that the second time around, you notice, like, this story makes no fucking sense.
It makes zero sense.
And the boob lady,
Adrienne Barbeau,
boobies.
That's what Jackie's coming with today. Oh, boobies. I guess it is an Adrienne Barbeau movie, which
It's
pretty
hard
much
to not. I mean, you're
hey.
like, whoa, hi.
Hello.
yeah, there's a lot of running scenes where you're just like, no bra.
She gets him out,
Yes, she does.
which is a very rare thing. And why for this one?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you would think that this would be the one, even like content-wise, like if you're going to have any audience to this, you'd think it would be the children. You probably shouldn't have Adrienne Barbeau's knocker swinging all over the place, right? 1982's moms.
Yeah.
I mean, freaking Tipper Gore's throwing her a shit fit over this movie.
Probably. But at the same time, Swamp Thing wasn't really a kid's comic.
No, it was written by Alan Moore, of course.
And the Vertigo adult line of comics is basically born out of the spin-offs of Swamp Thing.
Right.
Like John Constantine, Hellblazer, and all that. So
Watchmen,
yeah. Watchmen weren't involved in Swamp Thing, whereas John Constantine is actually a Swamp Thing spin-off character.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else, Sam?
Well, Dick Durock
Dick Durock
was the first person to reprise his role.
He's the
as a DC character.
He's the
he's the stuntman.
fourth role that oh fuck, I already fucked up my own joke. What's his name? The stupid guy from Captain America.
Peyton Manning?
No, not Peyton Manning, the other one before Peyton Manning. Space Mutiny.
Red Brown.
Yeah, Red Brown. That's one of Red Brown's favorite characters that he ever played in history. I'm Dick Durock.
That was
Space
a really-
scientist. and
Red Brown
lover.
as Dick Durock as Swamp Thing. What?
Oh, you mean Dick Durock was an actor?
Dick Durock's the stuntman.
Okay, all right.
So originally Ray Weiss was supposed to do the close-ups in the suit.
Right.
But they were like, wow, he doesn't look anything like this other guy.
Right.
Who's like a foot and a half taller than him.
Right.
So, duh.
Right. I just don't know why that you couldn't have lined that up a little bit better. Like, very strange.
Or why you thought that they were going to be similar in the first place.
like size-wise?
Or looking at all. Like, you
Yeah.
looked at the two of them and were like,
These guys are polar
these
opposites.
guys are totally going to look like each other. No, they're not.
Swamp Thing is clearly Ray Weiss from the beginning of the movie, right, audience? Well, yeah, you know that, but then you look at him and you're like, no.
I didn't notice that at all.
Oh, okay, all right. Jackie's in the
sure.
non-noticing shit camp, all right?
The other things that sort of stand out is that it just feels like a budget movie when it's not supposed to be.
Very much so.
And one of the things that really, and I want to praise the guy for being great, but Harry Manfredini, if you have him do the music, you just know it's a budget movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't tell the difference between this and the soundtrack to Friday the 13th Part 2. Isn't it like the same almost?
Other than there's a lot more love themes in this one.
There is,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like on Walden again. Jackie, let's cut to you. You get to talk about costumes. You know what? Have the whole board. I was going to say just talk about the things that monsters are wearing in this, but if you want to talk about Adrienne Barbeau's boobs more, I'm fine with that too.
I loved her dress at the end. I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
And the rest of it, yeah, they looked like normal people. And why the military personnel have to have pants that go all the way up above their belly button and their shirts tucked in.
I gave you two options, and high pants is not one of the options.
There's one costume in particular that sticks out.
I would say three.
Maybe not for its great appearance on screen.
Yeah. Talk about Swamp Thing, Jackie.
I was getting there, you
Okay.
two.
We don't want to hear about the fucking commando's pants.
Fat Commando.
Fat Commando.
We'll talk plenty about Fat Commando later.
But, yeah, and then the costume. Well, for the Swamp Thing. Well, the mouth moved.
Yep, it did move.
The one part that was makeup,
Yeah.
kind of.
It was so awful. It was just, I don't want to throw it completely under the bus. It didn't look.
Why? Why would you not want
It's just
to?
a rubber suit.
It's
yeah,
just
it's a rubber
suit.
suit.
Yeah.
And then they put some green back hair on it.
Like, there's a slew of budget Bigfoot movies in the 70s that have better costumes. Like that fucking Patterson film with the guy in the fucking chimp suit looks better than Swamp Thing.
Yeah, and when I read about the thing where, they're not both working in the costume, I think the one thing that really didn't work is that when Ray Weiss put it on, the arms were 1.5 feet too long, and he just would fall over a lot. Like, I can't do it, guys. I'm not as big as this. Because it's too big for the big guy.
It's too big for the big guy.
It's too big for the big guy. You see the rubber constantly creasing over itself. The hands are too big. It's just got to be awful.
Yeah, and I bet you it's... You know what? It's swampy inside of there, I bet.
Yeah, I would. Oh God, no.
I mean, just flashback a couple weeks ago when we were talking about how bad Bigfoot's dick smells and Meatloaf's dick. I bet you Dick DeRock's junk was quite pungent.
DeRock's dick?
Dick DeRock's dick. DeRock. Because not to mention it's just a big rubber suit with some room inside of it. And it's one thing when you're wearing a very skin tight suit. Yeah, sure, you're gonna have stinky junk. But when you have a loose suit and then you're walking around inside of the swamp, it's gonna get swamp inside of the swampy crotch.
Yeah.
Let's just call this suit what it is. It looks like a giant veiny dick.
Yeah, it's a green giant veiny dick. Yep,
yeah,
pretty much.
It's not even good looking for a green veiny dick.
No.
It's bad. This is one of the worst rubber suits I've ever seen.
It's unfathomable.
It's weird because you look at, 8 years later, say what you will about the Fantastic Four being crap, but at least the Thing's costume makeup was way better than this.
Right.
This is just a guy in a rubber suit.
Right.
That's not even the right size.
Nope. In something that it should be... Like, the men in ties are thinking, dude, we just got done with Superman. It fucking killed it. We're on to Superman 2 now. Let's start making more DC characters, right? Because that'll work. I mean, we'll get to Batman here in a few years, but we need Danny Elfman to grow up a little bit. And then you go, well, here's $30,000 to make this, or $2.5 million.
$2.5 million.
And... then you see the dailies and you're like, dude, cut it.
That's the other thing that really sort of strikes me when I watch this is that this shit didn't even cut together right.
No.
Like, there's bad cuts all over. They couldn't even shuffle the thing together when it was done.
Come on.
They got wipes everywhere.
They put, like, swamp stuff and, like, the star thing that blows
star
out.
Wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very PowerPointy.
It is very PowerPointy, and wipes have only worked one time in history, that being used that much, and it was made by somebody else. I just don't know. He's not known for his wipes.
No, it just didn't cut together.
They didn't cut it together, so they just wiped everything.
They had to use
transition.
They had to use transitions because it wouldn't cut.
I also want to talk about the warthog.
Yeah, well... Should we talk about the warthog now, or should we talk about
we should wait.
Okay, let's wait on the warthog. Yeah, there's a warthog. Anything else, guys?
The second one's a lot better.
Okay, we'll get to that at some point as well. Because
Swamp Thing makes jokes in the second one.
Yeah, well, it's a Wynorski film. We got it.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit that. Ready?
Set.
Go. Start the movie off with, of course, the swamp. I guess this is supposed to be like Florida or where.
I believe Swamp Thing is set in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
This, however, is shot in South Carolina.
Okay, it's very swampy.
It's very swampy.
Not just like hard target swampy. This is like 3 or 4 foot deep swamp.
It's a swamp
that you're in. Like, I don't want to be in that water ever.
Yeah, who signed up for this movie and goes, this is going to be great. I'm going to spend 6 months out in the swamp.
Like, how do you like, say you're making this movie and you've lined up all the principles and you're like, here's our location. It looks fucking great, right, guys? And then they're like, all right, now everybody get in the water. How do you like do prevention of dysentery or say gator attack?
They probably shot it on the verge of winter. To avoid most of those things. So instead, everybody's just fucking freezing to death.
Okay, all right. That also sounds sucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... I could not have done it.
No. Working in the swamp would... I mean, it's one thing when you're a swamp person, but...
Yeah, just being damp and wet all the time, and you could probably never get dry, right? Because the humidity in the air...
Well, unless, according to Sam's theory, it would just freeze to you.
It wouldn't even freeze you. It would just be god awful uncomfortable because it's not freezing. It's just 50 degrees and you're in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be unpleasant.
Yeah. And I would be so fucking terrified of snakes.
Oh, right. I mean, that's what I'm like. Do they like fence areas off with like nets? Like, well, no snakes or crocs are going to come in here. Not that crocs live there, but you know what I mean? Like, how do they do that?
How did they deal with the wildlife? God knows.
Yeah. It's just, Adrienne Barbeau, get in there. No.
Well, I think one guy just would put the snakes in his pockets.
Yeah, that's true.
My pants are full of snakes.
Yeah.
Well, let's use that. So anyways, they're in the swamp and a chopper comes in and Adrienne Barbeau is inside. She is a scientist of some degree.
I thought she was like with the CIA.
I thought she was a technical person. Like she was there to fix the
She's IT.
equipment. Yeah.
Yeah, she's IT for the CIA.
I don't know.
I don't either.
For Washington,
Her name's-
D.C. IT people.
Right.
Alice Cable, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so it's not
Agent Cable.
Agent Cable.
I thought it was her code name. I was like, what a blossoming love you have. You're calling her by her code name.
So her code name is,
She doesn't have a code name?
well, okay. Either way, whatever. I don't know what she's doing. She's flying in because she's replacing a guy on this scientific discovery zone or whatever, where science is taking place
Sure.
in the swamp. Who her replacement was eaten by an alligator while he
Bit.
was fixing a sensor.
Just bit by it.
Okay, all right.
He was fine. He got into the helicopter when she was getting out.
I'm done with this swamp.
And he
She's
didn't look
"I'll
like
go."
he had a real problem other than his butt was wet. I'm like, oh, guy got bit by a gator. I don't know. It looks like he just has wet butt, which I don't like either.
But
Never been bitten by a gator, but I've gotten the wet butt before. And I don't like it.
well, I mean, if you're in the swamp, you kind of have to expect a wet butt, right? You know.
Yuck.
I saw no toilet facilities either.
No, there's no nothing of that nature. Well, it's the swamp. You just,
Just because it's a swamp doesn't mean you poop in it.
the
Yeah.
animals poop in it. It's filled with poop. You're walking in poop. It's poop water.
Huh.
Like, I mean, if you think about a gator who, according to the story, took a big chunk out of a man. I mean, where's he gonna shit? Is he gonna climb up into a tree and be like, "Oh, this is where gators poop"? No, he poops in the water.
I thought he went to Georgia. Take it, Georgia.
So they land. They exchange. She's like, "Okay, I'm here to do science or fix stuff. I'm not real sure." But meanwhile, there's commandos in the swamp as well.
Yeah, there's commandos. One of them is an Italian punk rock bass player, and the other one's a fat guy. So we got a fat commando and a guy who should be in a band, but he sucks.
Like
And
Loverboy, you mean? Yeah.
Not
With
even
a
that. Like,
huge
the sh-
nose.
the Shamones.
The Shimon.
He's like in a Ramones wannabe band, and he's the guy that has a snake in his pocket.
I got a snake in
He
my
just
pocket.
keeps a cottonmouth in his front pocket in case he needs to kill somebody with it.
And he lets that snake bite the guy in the face and then lets him bite him in the balls.
Yeah, there's just some scientists wandering around.
See, this is actually the guy that is supposed to be in charge. It took me a long time to put this together.
Oh, this is Rickett or whatever.
Whatever
his
the
name
guy's
is.
name is that
Okay,
Lewis,
all right.
what's his face, is pretending to be.
So, well, he's just out wandering around and finds these commandos, and they're like, "Hey, gotcha," and give him snake venom
He's like,
Yep.
we're going to kill you with this snake
that I have in my pocket.
that I have in my pocket. It doesn't bite me.
It's I've got lead-lined pockets. I
It didn't
guess.
even like bite him when he reached his hand in there.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
You can't pull a snake out of your pocket and use it to kill somebody.
He stuffs the snake right into this guy's dong.
After he dumps it in his face, which he doesn't watch enough porn, you always go with the wiener and then in the mouth.
He stuffs this snake right into this guy's dong, but this whole time there's snake's in the pocket. There's a dong right next to him. Why didn't he bite that dinger?
Like nobody was squeezing him.
Oh, that's how you get a snake to bite. Is you squish him.
Yep, you just
Huh.
squeeze him. Like, bite him, snake.
So
I'm
it's
gonna squeeze you.
It's like a snake gun. That's how you shoot it. Boy.
Yeah.
Bleh.
Snake gun, yeah. That's the song you sing when you do it.
David Coverdale the whole time was like, "Yeah, I got a snake in my pocket too."
You sing Snake Dong, and then the police come and take him away.
Tawny Kitane's like, "Thank God."
Oh, not again.
So glad. Yeah, all right. Snake in her pocket, bites a guy. I guess he's dead. Adrienne Barbeau goes to the Science HQ, and she meets the crew, and of course everybody's like, what's a lady doing here? This is 1982. You can barely vote.
Even though there's a lady already there.
There's already a scientific lady there.
We can't have too many of these scientific women coming to this camp. It'll ruin it.
She seems less, not as scientifically prepared as Adrienne Barbeau, because there's some dialogue where, like, to introduce Adrienne Barbeau, she comes in and she's like, oh, well, we just need to flip the RAM converter over on the GRBH226 science laser. And the guy's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, the other lady is just the head scientist's sister. Like, I don't even know if she does science.
She does. He said that she has an IQ longer than a phone number, and that she does all of the maths associated with his projects.
Oh.
But wonder if you're just calling your voicemail. Isn't that just pound?
Calling your voicemail.
That's only one number.
Actually, excuse me, I forgot to call my voicemail today. I'll be right back.
To correct you both, he says directly, and I quote, she's got an IQ like a phone number. Not as long as a phone number, like a phone number.
So it's on the stall of a bathroom.
Right. I didn't realize that phone numbers were known for their intelligence quotient.
Sure.
But anyways, so she comes in there, and she's like, there's a sensor out on sensor 3.
Sure.
And nobody really cares, like, oh, whatever your job is or wherever you came from, lady, we don't pay attention to you. Go meet the head scientist. So she meets Ray Wise, who's this guy named Alan Holland?
Alec
Holland? Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. He's inside with his sister in the science facility, hovering over a bucket of goop, and inside is a possum that he's drowning.
Sure.
That possum's been in that goop for like 4 minutes while they have introduction dialogue.
Well, they're looking for it.
Well, it's dead. It doesn't matter if they're looking for it or not. It's a dead possum.
It seems like it's okay when they pull it out.
So
yeah, it hisses at them.
Right. How long was that possum under that fucking stuff?
Not that long.
Pretty long.
I thought that their tails fell off.
When they are underwater.
Drowning? Little known scientific fact, if you drown a possum, its tail will come off.
It takes its tail off and then uses it like a ninja bamboo stick so it can breathe underwater. It's hollow.
No, I thought that possums were like lizards.
No, they
you
just
grab them by the tail, then the tail will fall off and grow back.
Not even close.
Nope.
Oh,
They have a prehensile tail, though.
Jackie, do you believe that porcupines can shoot their quills?
yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. She is not going to the science.
No, possums do pretend to be dead if they're scared.
That's why.
Play possum.
Thanks for putting that all together, Sam. I mean, that was very Alex Trebeckian of you.
I'm not an animal.
You're not.
I'm not an animal person. Okay, I like dogs. I heard that honey badgers can get stung though by like a snake, and
They don't care.
Snakes sting people
they bite them.
or animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Man,
and
you guys are both.
We should move along.
Are you guys crocked today or something?
Rock, I have a cold, so I have an excuse.
I have a second butthole.
Oh.
I had to have a mole removed, and I have a gap in my butt.
Well, that makes you talk like an idiot, I guess.
I'm also very hungover.
Yeah, all right. I'm cutting you guys off, and I'm just going to be the one that makes all the jokes. So he's like, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Help me with this. Help me with that. Also, I think you're hot, and it's because of science, and I'm going to declare that we should bang because it's just science. And she's like, ugh, whatever. Okay, but I kind of liked it.
Well, she thinks that they're married, him and his sister.
Right. Yeah.
So she's like trying to do the right thing.
What is South Carolina?
Yeah, you know.
Oh.
In the swamp. I mean, let's not cut those Charleston people into, some sort of different class of human being, but the swampers from South Carolina. Sure. Appalachia's right over there too.
Sort of.
You get the moonshiners deliver their hooch to the Swampers, and then the Swampers are like, "Here, take my wife, please."
Wow, I think you are.
You do the jokes.
Hey, I'm telling Red Buttons jokes at least.
Red
They are jokes.
Oh my god.
You guys are just talking nonsense about buttholes. So he's like, yeah, come on, let's go check out that sensor you were talking about that nobody paid attention to. And so they take a nice little boat trip after she changes her clothes, and find that it's been ruined, like inside of its
So they open it
globe
up.
is torn apart parts.
Yeah, they open it up, and she's like, none of this shit's plugged in. So they just huck it into the swamp.
Yeah, it's trash now.
Well, I'm now beginning to doubt her IT skills.
Yeah. Doubting his science skills, too.
He's just there to get laid.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, you know she parties because she put on a Hawaiian shirt to go out into the swamp.
Yeah, this shirt haunts me the entire movie.
Why? You don't like
It's
Hawaiian shirts?
really, it's an ugly one.
It's pretty bad.
Well, not only that, but she's running for her life and trying to hide from these people, and she's got a bright red fucking shirt
Where
on.
could she be?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like she's colorblind and she thinks it's camo, but it's really just a bright red shirt.
She's just taking a page from Chuck Norris's hiding book.
Which is what?
Like in Eye for an Eye when he's hiding outside wearing a red sweater and in plain sight.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to hide. He's Chuck Norris.
Yeah, well, she's not. Upon return, she gets yelled at for taking him on a boat adventure and like, hey, we're supposed to be protecting this guy, and you took him out in the woods to bang him without any protection. I brought condoms. And
This is the 80s, Justin.
oh, they didn't have those.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But they hear like explosions or shots coming from inside the science facility, so they run inside, and the sister's in there, and she's made neon green gack, essentially.
It looks like it's just the shit from inside of a glow stick. Mm-hmm. But
Right.
it blows up.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, they got this stuff off the back of the possum.
And then in like an hour, she makes it into this new thing.
Yeah.
So I think that she actually does all the science and he doesn't do any of
yeah,
it.
it seems like she did all the science.
Well, she's just tired of trying to drown possums.
Right. Like,
And their tails don't fall off. She's terribly disappointed. And she was like, one of these days that possum's tail's going to fall off and she's like, regrow.
I got the tail out of this one, but it doesn't seem to be growing back.
she's like just trying to stick it back
Yeah.
on there with a paper clip. See, it's science.
There's just a guy that's not even a scientist like, yeah, those don't grow back. that possum's going to die now.
Thank you. Yeah,
She's going to eat that.
She's made essentially a new form of dynamite off of possum goo, and she chucked it at the floor, and it explodes all over the floor. And they're like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" So he reveals to Adrienne Barbeau that this is all part of the plan. They finally cracked the code. What they've been trying to do is combine animal and plant DNA so that plants gain the animalistic survival instinct,
Sure.
and therefore can survive in harsh conditions.
Yeah.
That sounds completely sciencey.
Right.
They're also gonna, stop world hunger.
Yeah.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
like,
they're-
we've done this, so there's no reason for the movie Interstellar to exist now.
Yeah, screw you, Interstellar.
Thank you, but they made it anyway. Sorry.
And it sucked. Somebody right now is like, Interstellar's the greatest. And I'm like, you are the worst. So he runs over to where the explosions were on the floor and finds that the wood floor has sprung branches. And so it's growth accelerant too, I guess.
Sure.
Or like reanimating the dead of plants.
I'm gonna say with reanimating, there's got to be that reanimation option, right? Because the boards are not living things anymore.
No, they're cut into the floor.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with reanimation.
Okay, well, I think that's a plot point that really isn't too well flushed out. I mean, it kind of is, but So they're like, "Woohoo! Let's party! We've solved everything," and
That's when they're attacked by commandos.
yeah. The guerrillas come in. They've invaded. They're storming the place, and Adrienne Barbeau's kind of kicking ass. She's doing pretty good against these guys.
Yeah, she kills some of them.
Yeah, she just picks up a fucking gun and starts going to town.
She poked their eyes out with her nipples.
Nope, not funny. That's like not even.
It's like 5-year-old.
Awkwardly funny.
But then a guy came with his wiener.
Yeah.
It was a real showdown.
And then another guy, they fought with each other's wieners.
They sword fought, but it wasn't gay because nobody came.
Yeah. Jackie, stop. It's not. You try to tell a funny joke every now and then.
Okay.
It's not enough ass that she kicks. They still storm the inside, and they break into the lab via her hand. And it turns out that the guy that they thought was there to protect them this whole time was actually the arch villain Arcane, who is
revealed after a very bad cut where it looks like the mask got stuck on the other guy's face.
Right. Arcane is a rich mega corporation owner, I think.
He's a guy who has a nice house that floats above a swamp.
And an army.
Well, he has like 8 commandos.
Right.
It's not really an army.
What's his deal? Because he wants to steal this stuff. He wants to steal the formula, but like, what?
And world domination.
Okay. So he's just a Bond villain without a plan.
Yeah.
Well, his plan is to make people pay for food.
Right. But A, how do I acquire this stuff? B, once I get it, what do I do with it? C, what's my delivery method of taking over the world? He's seriously an underpants gnome. It's step 1, underpants. Step 2.
No, the underpants.
Step 3, profit.
Gnomes have steps. I don't want to cut to the end and spoil anything. Whatever he says he's going to do with this stuff, when he gets to the end, he's like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to drink it and see what happens.
Right. I mean, it's... And then take over the world? How do you take over the world? Like, what's between...
Where does he even get the money? He's just like a guy who has a girlfriend, and he has magic powers.
Okay.
Because he can appear anywhere.
Right.
Throughout this movie, he just, like, shows up, and you're like, is your house next to everything in this movie?
It seems like it. Like, he's not far from the swamp.
I think that everything in this movie is happening in his yard.
And I'm not even sure that if he has a house. I think he might have a castle.
It's just a 2-story. It's like a 3-story house.
No, he has a dungeon.
In the swamp.
In the swamp. You can't have a dungeon in a house. You have to have, like, a castle, a mansion at least.
But you obviously can't have one where the groundwater is higher than the ground.
No, you can't. No, it's one of those sky castles. It floats above.
Howl's moving castle in the sky.
Yeah, right. There you go. I don't know what that reference is, but I like it.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what the name of that movie is, and
it's
fuck
called
you.
Howl's Moving Castle.
In the sky?
No, it's in the sky. The movie's just called Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh.
Anyway,
is this a cartoon?
Yeah, it was a children's movie. Anyway, he's got a magic house, and he's a magic guy, but if he gets this magic sauce, bang!
He's going to have killer burritos.
No, bang! That's it. I'm going to get the stuff. Bang! What after the bang? No, there's nothing after the bang. The bang is the
world
thing.
domination is after the bang.
No, he just bang. He's got it. Whatever it is.
Wow. So they break in. He reveals himself, and he is like laying it on thick. Is it Scaramanga that he plays in?
No, Scaramanga is Christopher Lee.
Yeah. I can't remember his character's name in Octopussy, but man, is he like, I'm over the top.
But he's saying things that don't really have anything to do with anything.
You would understand if you were a super genius, Sam.
I guess. Everyone else in the movie is just falling asleep.
Right.
He's monologuing to death, and
about nothing.
I am already allergic to half of the shit in this swamp, so I took 2 Benadryl, and he's not helping anything.
The sister's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. This is dumb. Run away. But she gets shot. She's dead.
Yeah.
And Holland's like, well, fuck, god damn it. And he grabs his own formula and then kind of trips.
And then falls down and explodes.
He explodes he's the delivery vehicle for the formula explosions.
Yeah, and then he catches on fire. And he runs out, and everybody's like, okay, let's just follow him so we can see what's happening.
What's that guy up to?
And so he stumbles out the door on fire, gets on fire more, and then jumps into the swamp and starts blowing off a lot of fireworks. And
Right. Underwater fireworks.
It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Of him exploding.
Yeah, in the background.
Yeah.
Like they totally cut to something else and just had the sound effect going
Yeah.
still. Like,
They're like,
all right.
what's going to happen? And the one guy's like, well, there's going to be a couple more pops. Then he's going to whistle really loud for a while. And then there'll be a really large golden fountain. And I think that's going to be the end of it.
And a very long ash carbon snake. So the mercs destroy the whole lab. They steal the notes, except for one, because Adrienne Barbeau has taken his most important journal and hidden it under a rock. They take her.
This is also the scene where Fat Commando understands the love of families.
Yeah, right.
And he finds the doctor lady's locket of her and her brother, and he puts it on the tree that's growing out of the death. And he's like, here you go, family love. Here is a new beginning brought to you by Fat Commando Guy.
I never questioned that it was weird that a brother and sister combo have a locket with their pictures in it. They're adults.
And they live together, so it's not like she's going to miss him. When I'm thinking of you, I open this up. Like, I've been here for like 6 years.
There's this hut that we live in is literally 100 square foot. You can't miss me.
You're just in a sleeping bag on top of my sleeping bag.
We don't even have bathrooms here. We have to poop in the swamp together.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Did anybody else think that it was weird that she had a picture of herself?
Yeah.
Who puts a picture of themselves in the locket? Like,
Right.
I love myself.
Yeah.
I have 2 pictures of myself in the locket. So I can open it up and be like, oh, look at me. Oh, look. Me.
Me times 2. I'm really missing myself right now. So they take Adrienne Barbeau out to the swamp because they're going to drown her. And, like, I think he's insinuating rape, but it doesn't seem like he's very interested in it because he's the guy that's throwing all these, like, innuendos possibly is the guy that tosses her in the water and starts trying to drown her.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm going to teach you how to swim, lady.
And then he throws her in there, and then Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Yeah, I can't even describe the first reveal of Swamp Thing. He just starts tearing into these guys pretty good.
Sort of.
Well, they're getting their ass kicked.
I mean, he throws people out of boats. For about the next 30 minutes, Swamp Thing's action is he tosses them out of boats, and then they just get back in the boat, and then he tosses them out of the boat again, and then they just get back in the boat. You're like, this is counterproductive. Nothing is happening here, Swamp Thing.
It's King of the Hill. King of the
Well,
Swamp.
and how many times did she get recaptured?
Nabbed. She gets nabbed a lot.
That became super annoying for me.
Oh, hey, they got her again.
They got her again.
Meanwhile, I think they're still, like, the whole time this is happening, they're inside the fence of this guy's yard.
Right.
So they've really been captured the entire time.
So, Swamp Thing gets her away, and he just kind of wanders off, sort of. But they're like, well, what the fuck was that? We got to hunt him and her down now. So they start, stalking them. And Swamp Thing takes out, like, 4 of the dudes. And then just, they split up. And they don't, like, they just go their separate ways. Swamp Thing and the Mercs and Adrienne Barbeau.
Like, we've had enough of this. That guy keeps throwing us out of the boats.
Right.
And Swamp Thing's like, every time I throw these guys out of the boat, they just get back in the boat. I give up.
Yeah, that's all we can do is get in the boat and get out of the boat.
Get out of there. Oh, all right. So she goes to the gas station.
Right. Meets Jude, who's a precocious little scamp.
Who is also very enterprising because he owns a gas station.
He owns a gas station at the age of 10.
12, maybe?
Yeah, good job there, Jude. It's not a nice gas station, but hey, it's more gas station than I own.
When I wouldn't have done this good.
So she's like, I need to use your phone, little dude. And he's like, all right, fine. He's pretty funny. He says some funny stuff. None of it's remarkable enough for the podcast, but I like his character. And she calls She calls the operator and is like, connect me to Washington. And the operator's like, hold, please. And then reroutes her call
To
into
the bad
Arcane's
guy.
limo, implying that the operator of AT&T works for Arcane.
Or the CIA has been so duped that they don't know. But meanwhile,
What do you mean they don't know?
the guy, the Ritter, is actually Arcane.
His phone number, like,
Yeah, he's got it rerouted through there.
he got bit in the dick by a snake, and during that time, Arcane has assumed his
Yes.
life, which his life involved a limo with a phone in it?
Well, they just rerouted it to Arcane's limo.
Yeah, he put on the mask and then he was like, yeah, it's me. I need to change my personal information.
Because at some point in time, I need to keep this going where people are going to call me?
Yeah, because somebody that's escaped me somehow because she's so stupid, I told her I killed Ritter
Right.
and I've assumed his identity.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, let me talk to Ritter. And he's like, hi, I'm Ritter again. And she's like, okay, here's what's happening, Ritter. She's like, okay, thanks. Remember when I told you that I killed Ritter and pretended to be him? That was like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, just in the film. Yeah, she tells him that she's got the journal. She knows where it's at. And so he's like, all right, turn this bitch around. And he heads back towards where she's at because I guess there's a trace on the line as well. And so he knows, like, oh, she's at the gas station where Jude works.
She did say she was at the gas station.
Yeah.
Where Jude works. Okay.
But I don't know
It's the
why.
only gas station on his property.
It's the only one that's
In his
he
backyard.
actually owns the gas station and Jude works for him.
Right.
That's actually where the fortune comes from, is that gas station.
Yeah, to himself and his Mercs. He sells
Yeah,
his own gas
he's
to
like-
himself and his Mercs. That's his entire operation.
That is.
Well, he sells cigarettes out of there too.
To himself and his Mercs.
He doesn't smoke. Everybody else does. Ha! Got him.
He does smoke. There's a whole scene where he's standing there with a lit cigarette.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's no profit here.
The gas station's going bankrupt
Yeah.
He's just buying in bulk so he can get a better discount.
From himself?
from himself.
Yes. This is a fantastic plan and very diabolical.
And about as good as his mega plan of taking over the world.
No, his mega place is bang.
Yeah. So they pull up and they go to get her, but she runs away into the forest and they try to chase her down, not on foot. She's on foot, but they're in a freaking blazer. They try to run her over a bunch and lots of yelling and screaming. But then Swamp Thing shows up, does the run him down, but he's stronger than cars.
He just shows up and stands there and they run into him and it stops them.
And there's no
I
damage
thought he
to the
gave
truck.
the truck a hug.
He did.
Yeah, right.
He like stops the truck by giving it a hug, and then he pulls the roof off of the truck, and then the roof of the truck decides to fly away on its own behalf.
I'm done.
I love
like-
that.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, he fucks their shit up.
He just throws them out of the truck,
Right.
and then they just get back in it.
And he wanders off.
Yeah.
Well, Jude shows up and he's like, "Hey, Adrienne Barbeau, about the first impression I saw of you. Let's take you back to this cabin that's not in the film so you can change. And I guess we'll stay the night there, just you and me, because that's where they're headed. But that's not in the film. But the next time we see her, she has changed her clothes.
Yeah.
Which means that Jude, the mom, has fit the same size as Adrienne
He
Barbeau.
sells hot lady clothes at the gas station. Cigarettes, hot lady clothes, jerky,
jerky to mercenaries.
fishing supplies, and night crawlers
To mercenaries.
to mercenaries.
To work for, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the fat commando likes to put on ladies' clothes.
He also likes
It's his own
Twinkies.
business.
So Adrienne Barbeau wanders back to the burned up lab, and inside is Swamp Thing. He's sad because he finds the locket, and he's like, "Arr, my sister."
This should have had a scene with him, and then like a dissolve into the top corner of Fat Commando going, "Yes, I understand your love of family." Your sister likes herself a little bit too much though, because she put herself in the locket.
And you as well, even though you're whatever. Yeah, and now then he goes to the science,
Oh,
like the
boy.
leftover beakers and stuff that are on his shelf, and he tries to pick them up, but I guess he's so strong that he crushes them, and so he's like, "I can't do science."
And
he
then
goes, ah!
science lost. The anguish.
He's not dejected that he's more tree now than man.
Yeah.
He's like, I crush beakers with my bare hands.
Like, I'm thinking you could probably give her a couple more tries and learn how to squeeze that. If you remember the science, you'll be able to do it still.
I can't do science.
Just don't squeeze so hard next time, maybe?
What about that thing where you're a tree man? Oh, that's not a big deal. It's the science!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a wiener anymore.
No, he does not. He's got a rubber Ken spot.
He doesn't even have that much shit on him. He's just a rubber suit.
A veiny rubber suit.
There's really only like one vein. It's mostly just a rubber suit. It's like he's going to kill some termites later.
Or make meth. So she snags the journal and gets away with Jude in the boat. And the Mercs spot her, and they're like, hey, let's get her. And they see Swamp Thing coming as well, so they start, like, fucking his shit up. They're, like, calling the reinforcements, and these fan boats dudes show up and try to mow him down, but he crashes their first boat. But then there's other boats that have grenades, and they're chucking grenades, and they're shooting at him with machine guns.
They throw grenades. Like, one guy throws a grenade like 8 feet.
Right.
Doesn't make it even halfway to Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing pulls his normal maneuver where he throws guys out of the boat.
Uh-huh.
But then he has a wild card for him. He starts driving the boat, which he didn't do the first time, and they weren't ready for it this time. So now there's Swamp Thing's got a boat, and other guys have a boat, and they all jump out of the boats, so the boats can hit each other and blow up.
And nothing happens.
End scene.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of that whole fight scene. Cut to Arcane with his shirt off.
He's in the swamp now, too, and you're like, where did you come from?
What are you doing
I'm
here?
everywhere.
And he's just monologuing still.
Yeah.
With his shirt off.
And this was just a poor choice. He was nothing to look at.
No, he's a very skinny, out of shape. He's
a skinny old guy.
He's got a comedy body.
He does have the comedy body, and it didn't help that he had his pants pulled up to nearly his armpits.
Right. And he's like...
It's like, I have a shirt, my shirt's off, but you probably don't notice because my pants are still covering up my upper body.
He's playing a game of chess.
Oh, yeah.
He's 4 moves ahead of us.
That's what he's saying, but you just saw what happened, and there wasn't any chess game involved there. It was just nonsense.
It was, one of the least strategic fights I've ever seen that didn't end with any results. We must take his queen from his bishop, and
he said, we'll take the knights and reveal his queen.
Right.
Which doesn't make sense.
Right.
No.
So Adrienne Barbeau's like, okay, this thing's getting pretty weird. Kid, take this journal to Washington.
He can't do that.
Why
are you not on the way to Washington right now?
Because I have to help.
Help what?
I don't know.
Yeah, but
Swamp Thing? He just jumped out of a boat and ran the boat into another boat. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't need any help.
But like in the scene where she goes back to get the journal, she sees him in there.
Right.
And she's like, not my fucking problem. We got to get this journal to Washington.
Yeah.
And can we just talk about this boat?
The what boat?
The Regina Savannah.
The Regina Savannah.
It's spelled wrong. It's Savannah. They put an extra N in there somewhere.
You're talking about Jude's boat.
Jude's boat.
Yeah, okay. It's called the Regina Savannah. It's written on the side of the boat.
It's just a little tiny boat.
So,
rowboat.
The front of this boat has a African-American doll with a white frilly dress and then a bunch of flowers sticking out the back of the dress.
Okay.
Actually, just looks like a dress with flowers coming out of it. No,
because in one shot you can clearly see the doll head.
Oh.
Okay.
Who does that?
Swamp people.
Why not? It's the same thing as having the hula dancer on your dashboard, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you're a swamp person. That's your primary mode of transportation.
Why wouldn't you do that?
It's
I
creepy.
would do weird shit if I had a boat.
You're a swamp person, Jackie. You live in a swamp owned by a man who has a floating sky castle and superpowers, and you work for him at a gas station where you sell cigarettes to mercenaries that work for him. And, so if you're into having a little masthead on your shitty little Livingston boat, so be it.
What's the difference between that and dice hanging from the rear view? Nothing.
Whatever, you two. It's fucking creepy.
Okay. So anyways, she gives him the journal. I was like, get this thing out of here. He's like, what are you going to do? She's like, I got to go help. Okay, see you later. She turns, walk 4 feet, and you hear Jude go, help.
You hear Jude go, hey, I'm dead now.
I'm dead now.
You're like, what? They just killed that kid.
And she like walks back there, and she's like, huh, yeah, he's dead. Oh.
And then she doesn't help.
Right.
Anything.
Nothing.
And then Swamp Thing comes and brings the kid back to life.
Right. So I guess he does have the formula does give restorative life generating powers to dead things.
Sure.
So I think that was just a vehicle to get so that you would know.
Know what?
That he's got regenerative powers.
Oh, yeah, right.
It is, because she doesn't help anything and he just dies for no reason.
Right. By
no one's hand.
By no one's hand.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
Right.
He fell to death.
Help me. Ow. I landed on this doll thing on the front of my boat.
I landed on this scientific journal and now I'm dead.
Paper cuts.
So he gives the journal to Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing's like, what am I going to do with it? I can't do science, kid.
He smells it.
Yeah.
A few times. He's like, science.
Leather bound.
Why are you smelling that, Swamp Thing?
So the Merc leader tries to deliver Adrienne Barbeau to Arcane by taking it seems like they're on a houseboat or something. I don't know.
They got an Arcane's boat now.
Yeah.
It's not that nice for a guy who's... It seems to be the kind of boat a guy down at a gas station would have, actually.
Right, or yeah.
Bond villain? No.
No. And it's small.
It's just a meh boat.
Yeah.
It's nicer than my boat. I don't have a boat.
Did you say meh boat?
It's a meh boat.
Meh.
The meh boat is nicer than my boat.
So she's like, don't touch me, because he's, of course, a kissy rapist, and knees him in the balls, and then pushes him off the boat, and then she dives into the water. So now they're both in the water. He chases her to the shore, but there's Swamp Thing at the shore, and...
He pushes his head down a little bit.
Well, no, Swamp Thing gets his arm cut off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is important.
He cuts Swamp Thing's arm off, and then Swamp Thing pushes down on his head, which results in him dying. And then in the next shot, you see him, he's covered in blood.
And he's twitching.
Some really bad stuff happened that we didn't see.
I think it's supposed to imply that he smashed his head with one hand, crushed it.
But he wasn't even squeezing it, he was just pushing down on it.
I think it's supposed to be implied that he was squeezing it.
Yeah, well, he does. He has the ability to crush beakers without trying.
Right, so... Ferret is dead. We learned shortly that was his name from the first iteration of it.
Yeah.
Well, and it was nice, this scene, because they kept repeating it until you eventually figured out what the hell he was saying.
Ferret!
I thought he yelled Sharon.
I thought he yelled Sharon the first time.
Who the fuck is Sharon?
Who's Sharon? He's like, that guy's name is Sharon?
Weird name for a Merc leader.
Yeah.
Ferret's not much better, to tell you the truth.
Maybe Sharon's the snake's name.
Yeah, right. What happened to the snake? Is it still in his pocket?
I bet it crawled out.
Yeah. So she realizes that he's Holland and finally puts it together, and she's like, oh, I loved you. We love each other, right? But now you're all a green penis skin man. And so she takes a swamp bath.
Yeah.
So she can get clean? Or is it just to say, hey, look at the sight of Adrienne Barbeau's boobs?
She just, so we can see them.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks for that. God, about the rest of it, Jesus.
Well, he's just standing there like some kind of weirdo.
He doesn't have a wiener anymore, so he can't pull on it.
Yeah, he's very sexually frustrated because he's stomping around, throwing a fit about her naked body and going, ah! And then she comes out and gets nabbed again.
Oh my God, enough of you getting nabbed.
But why do they stop nabbing her? They just take weird breaks from nabbing her.
Right.
Oh, it's quitting time.
Well, we don't know where she's at. Yes, of course we do. We have superpowers. We know where everything's at.
Everybody's just over there in this movie. Nobody's ever very far away.
No.
Well, they get him.
Yeah, the Swamp Thing comes to help her again and gets netted. And
Nets are very effective.
yeah.
Yes.
when
I
you're
don't know if
up-
you ever tried to put a net on something, but
Right.
don't. It's really dangerous. It's so they're so effective. You might hurt your friends if you throw a net on them.
And they'll just lay down immediately and admit defeat.
Everyone knows that if you try to get the net off of you, it's only going to make it worse.
Right.
So just lay down.
Right. So Swamp Thing's captured. They get the journal. Arcane's got the formula now. And so what does a villain do but throw a party?
He's dinner party.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of people here. And some of them seem like
Not people that were here, but like I don't even know. Some of these are just like swingers.
right. Who are these people? Like, it's one thing if you're an evil Bond villain and you throw a party for all your mercs that you got working for you. You know, you and Bruno get sad about the death of Ferret one night.
Yeah.
Drink too much brandy. But he's got, like, his neighbors are there. Like,
Yeah.
he went out and put flyers out, sent out a Facebook invite, like, party at my house, science. And everybody showed up.
Yeah.
Well, and it's rude too because there's not enough room at the table
No.
for all of these people. They have to stand there and wait for somebody to be done eating and rotate out of that chair.
If they even get food.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like there's a dance party behind the table.
Right.
They're at the table. Fat Merc has got a turtleneck on now.
Bruno the Fat Merc is the guest of honor at this. Like, he's put on a pedestal, it almost seems like. He's sitting up higher than everybody. And Arcane's like, yes, let's pay him homage for finding the journal because it was over on the ground someplace.
Yeah.
And by that, he is going to be the first to test this. And he already has because they gave him a toast and he drank it. So he's now going to be a tree man, possibly.
He didn't even say like, "Wow, that tasted funny."
Yeah,
that
this
stuff
tastes-
I just drank.
Well, he's never drank brandy, high quality.
Oh.
Brandy. He's just a fat merc,
He's like
Sam.
pretending that was. He's like, "Oh, this is good.
This is good brandy.
This is good. I like it. It's very good." Oh. Well,
And there's no heads up because the liquid that they're giving him is bright neon green.
Right.
Like,
Again,
you saw this shit in the lab.
little experience with brandy, Jackie. Yeah. He thinks that's the color of it.
Sure.
Or maybe he thinks it's absinthe. I don't know.
Ooh, Green Fairy. Hello. This is my kind of party.
So he starts transforming and getting like, oh, my stomach. Oh, guys, seriously, I got a crap. And like falls down to the floor, gets a little goopy at first, but then springs onto the table.
I was expecting this to be the moment where some of the $2.5 million showed up. Right. And they did like a really cool body horror thing where like he comes out like it's the Howling or something.
Yeah, like
face
a
comes out
fat
of,
guy cocoon or something. Yeah, right.
Instead, he just goes, "Oh, I got some shit on my face." Ducks under the table, and a little guy who's a possum jumps up and is like, "I'm a possum guy now." And it's just a little guy who's a possum. You're like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense.
Does his tail come off?
Right.
He doesn't even have a tail.
That's true.
He turns into a little possum guy.
And what's weird is that his clothes still fit.
Still fit.
His clothes shrunk down with him.
With him, and like, the magic of transformation. These corduroys are now smaller.
And this turtleneck is now covered in
Well,
possum hair.
the turtleneck I believe he was wearing a little tight to begin with. So that's just down to its normal size now.
Nothing is more unexpected and hilarious than a little guy in a turtleneck possum man jumps on the table and starts going, "Wow, a possum guy!" Like, he's pretty jacked about it at first. Like, he's bouncing around and everybody's like, "The horde!" He's like, "Ha, I got your food."
Yeah, he just jumps on top of the turkey, bastard.
Yeah.
Somebody else was going to eat some of that. They were waiting for a chair to open up.
Like, Bruno goes from a mercenary into like Santa's little helper in like no time flat. Okay, that I think was unplanned. So Arcane goes down to his dungeon where he's got Swamp Thing tied up on like one of those X torture device things.
Sure.
I don't know what those are called.
A
pillory. That's what they're called.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, "It didn't work. It turned him into a little possum guy. What's the secret?"
He's like, look at him.
Look at him. He's a little possum guy.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Swamp Thing is trying not to laugh.
Right?
It's like,
That's your right hand man.
Yeah.
That's your best guy. He's a little possum.
Yeah. It's like you're running some kind of possum kingdom, sir. Joke from the 90s.
I also like that they bring her down.
Uh-huh.
Sort of chain her up for whatever reason.
Yeah, in her
To
fancy
showcase,
dress.
To showcase. Come on.
Yeah.
She looked nice.
I can't see any part of her except for the two.
Right.
It was difficult. Especially because of the way they lit her,
Uh-huh.
where the light was only shining on her boobs in this, and you're like, what really?
They
really?
generate light themselves, Sam.
They might.
Yeah.
I mean, those things were, whoa.
So he's like, tell me the secret. And Swamp Thing's like, whatever's inside of you gets amplified, and that's what you become. Bruno was a little possum guy, so he became a little possum
guy.
I was a tree man.
And Steve, well, he ate a lot of fish sticks, and that's why he's now a 7-foot pile of fish sticks. They
He's
were inside of
delicious.
him. They're not that good.
Fish sticks?
They're okay.
You're daffy, man. Fish sticks are the bomb.
Oh, they are good. I do like fish sticks.
What are you, gay fish? Yeah, Kanye. So Arcane's like, well, I'm a super genius because I talk very slowly and very deliberately, and I,
Yeah.
am very smug and mostly have monologues, so I'm a genius. So I'll be a super genius when I transform.
Why doesn't he try to burn Swamp Thing with a cigarette at this point?
To what end?
Well, he would have been like a lot more diabolical.
Okay.
And then he's been like, we're going to burn this motherfucker down. And then he starts trying to
With
burn him with a
Swampy, he's
cigarette.
not going to burn. He's just going to be able to put it out nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I am missing an arm, and that doesn't bother me, but your little cigarette trick is going to be like, oh, no. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Well, I think you should just be like the people in St. Elmo's Fire and just ash everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Just ash on each other.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So he goes upstairs, Arcane, and he's like, all right, bring me, have Karen bring me brandy.
Yeah, so some lady comes up to me and is like, okay, you go get Karen. Don't you go get it. Go tell someone else
Who doesn't have any
to
lines.
walk past the brandy. Go get her. Tell her to bring it to me. I'll be waiting over there.
In a chair, waiting to transform.
At first, I didn't think he was going to transform.
It
First,
takes a
I was
while.
like, who's Karen? And then she comes and I was like, okay, I have seen you before, Karen. You were in another scene.
Without dialogue.
Yeah.
And so he starts transforming in front of her, and like
She drops the brandy and is like, the horror. And then it takes forever to cut to him and show him what's happening. And at this point, all she saw was a little bit of a puffy hand.
Right. That's where the transformation starts. Is he looks like he got stung by a bee and he's allergic in the hand.
Yeah.
Oh, the horror! She runs away like he's fucking Dracula or something.
Well,
He doesn't even notice that his hand is puffy.
she's looking at it like, oh my God, you're not perfect anymore. I'm out of here.
Oh yeah, because he was a fucking specimen before.
Yeah, what did Karen cares about that?
Karen's here for the money.
Yeah.
And to live in a sky castle.
I can't say I blame Karen.
Yeah.
No.
So he starts metamorphosizing.
And this takes fucking ever.
He gets a cocoon.
Oh, shit.
It's a poo suit.
It's a poo suit.
He
He looks like a turd.
It's a poo suit.
And he's like stumbling around in this poo suit, but then he cracks open and he's transformed into a warthog.
He looks more like a rat.
You think it's a rat?
No, he's a warthog. They just did a bad job. Because he looks kind of like a rat face guy.
I think he looks like Beastman from He-Man.
Kinda.
I think so too.
He looks like crap.
He looks like crap.
This is arguably the worst costume I have ever seen in any movie. And I'm lumping in like 1950s crawling eye style movies.
And I'm talking about the Swamp Thing costume in the other scene.
Right.
Because that's worse than the eye movie is.
I mean, it's like googly eyes.
They took the eyes out of a teddy bear.
Uh-huh.
And then they stopped his fur right before his butt crack.
Yeah, he's got a mane that goes down to his butt crack, and then the rest of him is just gray skin.
And then he's got kind of like rubber boot legs.
Uh-huh.
And then a suit, a blazer for his upstairs.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Whoa.
He looks like shit, and it's hilarious.
This is bad costume.
Oh, I think you, like, dude, we got to do that one over, guys. This sucks. Nobody's going to like this movie.
How long did that take you to make?
30 minutes?
Take longer.
All right. So then he's like, I'm a beast man, and grabs a fucking sword that he has mounted on the wall. Like, not like, it's like Excalibur style sword. It's
no, Excalibur is like a claymore. It's big. This is just a sword.
But it's not like a katana
No,
or like
it's a
like it's a knight's sword.
He got it at the fair. At the booth where you throw the little balls into the fish.
They don't give swords out. They give stuffed animals.
Throwing balls at fish, huh?
So here you are. Come on, kids, let's go to the fair. Then little Billy wins the prize. Some townie or some
Carney's like, I bequeath you the sword of Azeroth.
I don't want my kid to have that.
You're like, how many tokens is that?
You don't win swords at the fair, Jackie. God. So, Bruno's downstairs, and he's like, come on, I'm on your side now, because I'm a little possum guy. And flip the switch, and...
I can't reach it.
Oh, we forgot that the sun has come in and lit up Swamp Thing, so his arm grows back. That's how he gets his powers, the power of the sun.
That was so creepy. Like a little baby hand.
Oh, and that took for fucking ever, too.
Oh, yeah.
So now they're free. He busts out. He gets Adrienne Barbeau, and they run downstairs, and they find that there's a well in the bottom of his dungeon.
There's a well in the dungeon
that leads
that's
to
in
the
a
sewer.
swamp.
Or that leads to the swamp, yeah.
Well under the swamp?
Uh-huh.
Because guess what? The swamp is already water.
Right.
There can't be a well under it because it kind of is a well.
Oh. So they get out of the swamp, and Arcane follows them, and then you have two men in rubber suits that look awful fighting over a sword in the swamp, and it's like, who... Seriously, guys, you had to have thought at this at some point. This is going to look awesome. No, it doesn't look awesome. It's two guys in rubber suits fighting over a sword. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
And they do a worse job shooting around the fact that they're rubber suits because you see them creasing constantly.
Oh, yeah, right.
The lowest budget, most rapidly made kaiju movies do a much better job than this.
Like 1990s Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Those rubber suits are better fighting
a
scenes.
Lot better.
Yeah.
Well,
they wanted to borrow one.
Point.
Huh? They wanted what?
They wanted to borrow one for this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it would have been
They
better
did.
than fucking hip waders and a pinstripe blazer. Oh no, it's a wild boar. Why is he in hip waders and a pinstripe blazer?
Because he
Wait a
refused-
second, so that I ask this question, so that I don't ask this question. Why is he a wild boar?
Why is he a wild boar? Is he boorish? You know, is his personality boorish?
I don't know. He's a man pig and he's got a sword. You're like, wait a second. Man pig's got a sword? What the fuck does that have to do with any... He doesn't want world domination?
And everybody else has superpowers. Well, I guess Bruno may or may not have superpowers. He can get into stuff. You know, he's a spry little guy now.
Yeah, he dodges man pig.
Yeah, right.
He's like, fuck you, man pig. Wow.
But Man Pig doesn't have any superpowers. He just is like, I need
I
a
got
sword.
a sword and a blazer. Watch out.
So they fight. Adrienne Barbeau gets stabbed right in the boob. I think that was intentional. Like, oh no, the boobie. But Swamp Thing kills Arcane, kind of, with a club he pulls out of the ground, and then goes over and heals Adrienne Barbeau.
And then molests her.
Yeah.
Well, he does give her some back hair.
Right. That's his healing.
He gives her a patch of moss, and then he just makes sure that the other boob is okay for a while.
I'll check this one.
Like, yeah, that one's okay. That one didn't get stabbed.
I better check it again.
Better keep checking it.
I'll try the underside. Maybe it got stabbed under there.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to have to put my nose in your butt
I'm
crack.
probably going to have to do that. Go through you from the inside.
You know, there's an
Check you out.
we have to use the old style of medicine where I just start licking all over your body.
Right. Doctors do that, right?
Yeah.
So Arcane isn't dead. He comes back. He jumps up. He's still got his fucking sword. But then Swamp Thing takes it away from him and then just gives him the chop.
Yeah, he stabs him, kinda. And then does this, like, sweet Arthurian sword sticking out of the ground look back like, you're not King Arthur, you're Swamp Thing. Why is there a fucking sword in this movie? And then it cuts to the fucking boar guy, and he's got, like, Slurpee coming out of him all of a sudden. You're like, wait, he's now a fucking volcano from a science project in 4th grade?
Right.
What special effects?
And so Swamp Thing, it's all over. Always remember me. Wherever you go, I will be with you.
What?
And then wanders off.
Well, he tells her, you need to go heal and rest.
Yeah, take a break.
What?
Take 5.
Yeah, that's Swamp Thing's
I'm out of
way
here.
of saying, I felt him and I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I totally came. And let's hit it and quit it. Bye.
See ya.
And Jude runs up and was like, who was that masked man? And she's like, I love him.
Well, she also tells him, like, you can still be a scientist. He's like, no, I must walk into the swamp. We'll get stronger beakers. They don't make them. I must walk into the swamp.
I'm telling you, he's just trying to get rid of her. I don't know. No, it's good. I'm going to accept my fate.
Credits. The end. Who wants to go first?
What the fuck does Swamp Thing do? Like,
in between time?
Yeah.
Because here's the fun thing. In Return of Swamp Thing, the villain is Arcane again.
Yeah, I know.
Played by Lewis Jordan.
Yeah, he comes back.
That's all he does in this film franchise is fight a man pig or something.
Whereas in the comic book, he has like a house thing.
Right.
Swamp Lodge.
Right. Yeah.
People come over and they hang out with him.
Sort of.
No, that's where John Constantine comes from. He's just hanging out with Swamp Thing in his house.
All the Alan Moore Swamp Thing stuff I read, it was just mostly him just mooping around like, my past life, I'll never get it back, and my love, and blah, 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 blah. So I think he's a moops around.
Fucking take a page out of Darkman's book, why don't you?
Oh, dude, Darkman's a man of action compared to...
He gets pretty moopy.
Yeah, but he can put on another man's face, and then he can go to the fair and crush a guy's hands. That's sweet. Give me that sword, you son of a bitch. My hands! And then Francis McDormand's like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to win an Oscar someday. Why am I in this movie? And Liam Neeson's like, I won 3 of them. What am I doing here? And Sam Raimi's like, hey, it's me, Sam Raimi.
And they make Darkman 2, and you're like, wait, what happened?
What happened, Sam?
Nothing happens in Darkman 2.
Okay. Why are we talking about Darkman 2 so much?
Because he's moopy.
Okay. Jackie, question?
No. I don't have any questions. It really did wrap itself up nicely.
It does, because it doesn't beg any questions throughout its whole thing other than what the hell are you people talking about, which can't be answered.
Right. I think we flushed everything out because most of the questions I had are about Arcane and his motivations and how he exists and what he's doing living in a swamp and who are these people at his house party. Where do they even go after that guy turns into a little possum? Do they go back to their house and are like, so went to a party. They wanted to play. I thought we were going to play Cards Against Humanity, but instead a man turned into a possum.
Man turned into a possum, and we got the fuck out of there.
So I don't think we'll be going back to Arcane's house.
Also, I just don't recommend tuxedos and fan boats. Don't go well together.
Right. Okay. Well, then I guess we move on to the big one. Final recommendations. Jackie, go.
I'm going to give it a do.
Okay.
It's so bad,
Mm-hmm.
but they're trying so hard. And
are they?
Are they? Maybe they're just mailing it in. But the characters that are in here, the possum guy, fat commando,
right?
They make it funny. I think it's not supposed to be, but it is hilarious.
Yeah. Smash.
I'm giving this film my very first withheld judgment.
What?
I am not going to say whether it's worth watching until I watch Swamp Thing 2, and then I will decide whether the toilet should be flushed on all of the Swamp Things, or if only one of them's worth watching.
Huh.
Because right now, I would say, don't watch this, just watch Swamp Thing 2. But I don't want to be wrong about that because I haven't seen Swamp Thing 2 in 15 years either. And I hadn't seen this one in 20, and I remember liking it a lot more than I liked it today.
Well, I don't know what what you missed in this film because I fucking thought it was awesome. This is a total do.
Huh.
If you don't like this type of bad movies, I don't know what the fuck we're doing this podcast for because this thing stinks and it is unintentionally stinky and just bad on every level. And then Wes Craven went on to have a career. So not only is it like shitty if it was a standalone movie directed by Guy.
Yeah.
It's Wes Craven, so it's a part of history. And then Adrienne Barbeau, Ray Wise is always awesome to watch. And I personally like bad costume monster movies. But then there's a boar fighting a swamp guy, a tree in the swamp with a sword.
Until he turns into a possum, and then the man boar showed up. I was like, "This is a don't."
Huh?
But once that happened, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of charming."
Charming is another word I wouldn't use for describing Swamp Thing. No, it's surprisingly bad.
It's horrendously incompetent for filmmaking purposes.
Yes,
like it's really bad.
It's really bad. So I give it a super 2. This is as close to like 1950s shitty science fiction movie as you can get and still have it be like, whoa, huh, wow, that was something. I like it. So 2 from me. I think it's must see actually. Streaming do's and don'ts this week. Unless Jackie's got something. I've got 2. Jackie, I don't think did you watch something last night by chance? Or did you just get drunk?
Drunk.
Okay. We talked about one of them a little bit, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But I do want to bring up that The Fly 1 and 2 are on HBO now, right now. Of course, the 80s Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, and I think that's it. The three of us kind of had a conversation about The Fly the whole week. Directed by David Cronenberg, of course.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen it in probably 25 years. And I was fucking floored by how good The Fly was.
Yeah. I hadn't ever... So I had only seen because it was super popular that they aired it.
Right.
And I'd only seen the over-the-air, and they have to cut out
super
a
edited.
lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so when I was like 32, 33, something like that, about 6 years ago, I saw it for the first time on widescreen restored version, and I was just like, this shit is awesome. It takes a little bit to get going, but once it's there, holy crap.
Yeah, Jackie's seen it. I can't tell Jackie to do because it's just so goopy.
But
man, it is super goopy. I won't watch it again.
Yeah, does it hold up well to the testament of time? This is like one of those landmark movies where no matter how much time goes by, it's always going to look good.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, they knocked it out of the park in Fly. And Goldblum is fantastic. I personally think he should have won the Oscar that year because, there's a lot of other people who are like, okay, we're going to put you in this role and you have to act like a bug or something. And they fucking overdo it. But he's just so subtle and so bloomy. And, like, it's everything that is Jeff Goldblum comes into that role. And it's like, you're the guy. You are the guy for this role. Nobody else could have done this. Booyah. And even Gina Davis is really good. Like, I kind of think Gina Davis kind of stinks. Obviously, Cutthroat Island's a fantastic movie. But when she has her mental breakdown over what's happening to Brundle and, like, starts freaking the fuck out, she does a great job. And, like, everybody behind the camera is doing a great job. Cronenberg's directing the shit out of it. The only caveat I will give it is that Brundle is a very bad scientist because he just leads. He's like Arcane, like, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just drink it. But everything out of a couple quibbles of writing is like, dude, this is one of the best movies ever been made, especially for the visual effects. But it is all-time goopiest.
It is super goopy.
I can't think of. I honestly, maybe Street Trash is the only goopier. Like maybe, and I don't even know.
I don't think it is by volume.
He pukes on his food and then eats it in front of another guy.
Yeah.
That's as goopy as you can get.
Yep, it's goopy.
Whew.
And Street Trash has long portions of non-goopiness.
Right.
When it gets goopy, it gets really goopy. I think The Fly is goopy like when that guy gets hit by the car in RoboCop.
Right.
And he turns into
That's pretty
liquid.
goopy. That's pretty goopy.
That's like
right there.
super goopy. But RoboCop's really only that goopy for a little bit.
Right.
The Fly is that goopy for like a third of it.
Yeah. Maybe more. Man, wow. If you haven't seen The Fly in some time, go back. If you're a special effects person, dude, whoa. But then there's The Fly 2.
I haven't bothered with that. I think I saw it over the air and it was like, whatever.
Eric Stoltz is Brundle Jr., the baby that Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum were
Who
theoretically
directed
going to
The
have.
Fly 2?
The creature creator from The Fly 1.
Sure.
This guy named Chris Wallace. He won the Academy Award for special effects for The Fly 1. He went on to direct Fly 2. Princess Vespa. You know, she was in that one movie where she was Princess Vespa.
She was in Family Ties too.
Was she?
I thought so.
I didn't think that was the same actress.
And she was in Melrose Place.
Oh, no way.
After the fact, yeah, she was in Melrose Place afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anybody else really in it. But holy crap, is this one dumb as shit? Bad writing. Through and through. Eric Stoltz is hilarious unintentionally. He's moopy because, he's turning into a fly.
Yeah.
And then there's this security guard at this, the science headquarters who is just unintentionally hilarious. He's, super violent. He just wants to kill everything. So he just plays with weapons the entire time. You introduce to him while he's staring at a stun gun, at the electricity, and he's like, but the effects are great again. He goes all fly, and it's goopy, and Jackie cannot watch it for one reason. I'm not going to tell what that reason is, but if it wasn't for that, I think it's episode worthy. I absolutely loved Fly 2. It's hilarious. And it delivers. There's this choice that could be made by the filmmakers where we go one of two directions. We go all in on this shit, or we kind of trying to make it a science fiction movie, but they go all in. There's one thing you want to see happen in the Fly franchise, and they do it, and you're like, yeah, and the ending is fantastic. So do On the Fly 2 from me for Sam as well. I think you should watch both of them back to back for sure.
No.
Not for Jackie, though. Absolutely not for Jackie. It's the one time I will say, dude, we could have done an episode on this, but I'm not going to force it to you because it would be a bad day for you. And that's not fun for anybody. So, that's it for me. What do you guys got? Anything special?
I watched The Infiltrator.
Oh, yeah.
With Bryan Cranston.
Oh, yeah.
You
How
said
was
you liked
that?
It was really good.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie by any means.
I thought it was on the outside looking in of the Oscars that year.
But I did finally get around to watching that. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I watched Bent.
Bent? I don't know what that is.
Carl Urban.
Oh, no.
So this was, I think it was going to be a bigger deal. It's a classic Carl Urban deal where Carl's like, hey, Carl, we're giving you the Danny Gallagher character, which is a book franchise character. And he was like, oh man, I'm getting a book franchise character.
Yeah,
I'm Carl Urban.
I'm getting my break finally.
And they're like, oh, so here's the deal, Carl. We had $80 million. Now we've got $7. But we're still going to make the movie because we still have Carl Urban. And he's like, I guess you do.
I guess that's my MO.
Yes, you do.
That's what I do. I show up and all the money disappears. And all interest and quality.
Yeah. So they also bring in Sofia Vergara and Anthony Garcia.
Okay. All right. Oh, Andy Garcia. Nice.
And I think that the book series is a premise around the whole idea is that this guy that they call it bent, he's a crooked cop.
Okay.
But he's not really bent. He just was convicted of it, obviously wrongfully.
Okay.
but then has to operate on the wrong side of the law.
Oh, he's forced into being like a...
It's like, well, if you're going to make me a crooked cop, I'll show you what a crooked cop is.
Right.
Sort of, but he's not. He's like Robin Hood, or he's the sort of, white knight vigilante kind of thing as a PI.
Okay.
And then he's smart enough to not get caught again.
All right.
So... super disappointing, because if you're Carl Urban, this happened again.
Yeah, hey, oh boy, I showed up to work today and everything didn't go as I wanted it to.
And then ultimately, as a whole, it's not great. But if you like crime movies, it's fine. So,
okay, all right. What year are we talking?
This year.
Oh wow,
direct to video. Should have gone to theater instead. Went right to Netflix instead.
It's on Netflix. Okay, all right.
It might be on Amazon. It's on one of the two.
Huh. All right. Well, that's your show, kids. Sam, what do you have planned for next week?
Next week, I actually believe that I found a copy of Cemetery Man, so I think we're doing Cemetery Man.
Cemetery Man, okay.
Yeah.
So try to find a copy of that, because it's not streaming anywhere.
It's hard to find.
Yeah. So we'll do a rare gem. But Jackie, any final thoughts you want to share? No.
Water.
Because you're hungover.
Swamp water?
Yeah, swamp water.
Swamp water.
There's plenty of swamp water in those galoshes that they were all wearing.
All right, kids, enjoy your week. Get to the chop. Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter at Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.